Hey guys, thanks for watching my channel today. My name's Don and my channel's all about bass fishing after the age of 70. Today I want to talk about, at my age, at 78, the muscles that are really needed and that will allow me to continue fishing. I've done a lot of research on this, trying to figure out what do I need to do to at least stay in good enough shape, to be able to fish. People ask me all the time, why am I still fishing at this age? I'm not sure what they expect me to say, uh, but I tell them, I'm not trying to fish like I'm 30. I'm just trying to fish like I'm still alive. Because once your body quits cooperating, and it has more than once, the best bass bite in the world isn't going to make a bit of difference. It's not going to mean anything. You got to be physically able to get out there and fish. Uh, so at 78, I think bass fishing isn't about strength anymore. It's more about durability. I mean, we all suffer from all the different ailments, from shoulder pain to arthritis. Chances are most of us at least have trouble with standing without kind of wobbling. Uh, I think it's all about being able to get in the boat and out of the boat, and not making that a big production. I like to flip and pitch, which means I like to stand. And if I'm going to stand on that front deck, even though I have a butt seat to be able to lean up against, I need to be able to do it without wobbling or without, shaking. Um, when you start casting all morning, it doesn't take long for your shoulder, to start really bothering you. And, you go home tired. You don't want to go home wrecked. It's okay to go home tired, but you don't want to stay out so long that you're going to pay for it over the next few days. So today I want to talk about muscles that actually keep you fishing well into your 80s. And not necessarily the ones that look good in the mirror. I mean, come on, guys. We're long past those days of trying to impress the girls on the beach in a bathing suit. This is all about, muscles that you need, to be able to continue to fish. For starters, let's talk about your core. The core is really the unsung hero. Um, it's not about the six pack. I'm not sure I ever had one. Maybe had a three pack, maybe when I was younger. But the only six pack we need is the six pack in the cooler. And I'm not much for drinking while I'm in the boat, but that's a pretty good line when you think about it. But your core actually keeps your back from barking every time you make a cast, every time you lean, every time you have to net a fish or reach over the side of the boat, or hit a wave at 40 miles an hour. It used to be I'd hook good fish and I'd get down on my hands and knees like I see most guys, and I'd just grab him by the lip and pull him into the boat. Very seldom do I do that now. And I have a net, but I seldom take the net. Instead, I count on the rod being strong enough that I can just kind of flip them in. And what I do, and I've seen other guys do the same thing, I try to catch the bass when he just starts to jump so that I'm using his momentum along with mine to flip him into the boat. Once he gets in the boat, he bounces around a couple of times. I can grab him, and at that point, I can take the hook out and release him. But I'll tell you, if your core is weak, your lower back will get sore very quickly. And if you start leaning on the console, it's a pretty good indicator that your back is telling you you've had enough. And usually by noon, you're thinking about going home. A strong core will keep you upright. It'll keep you steady. and it'll help you be more comfortable. Next would be your shoulders and back. And this is where casting really comes into play, because your shoulders and your upper back are involved in every cast you make. Every cast is a shoulder movement. Every hook set, is a wrist, shoulder, chest, and every fish you land, regardless of the size, still, increases the amount of pressure on your body. And here's the thing, most shoulder pain doesn't come from fishing too hard. It comes from weak stabilizers. That rotator cuff and the upper back keep your shoulder centered where it belongs. Lose that, and all of a sudden your casting distance will drop. Your pain will begin to creep in, and you start fishing like you're afraid of your own arm. No, I don't want that. I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want it to happen to you. I want to be able to fish confidently, not cautiously. Next up would be your hips and your glutes. And that's really where your balance is. That's really where you have to maintain good balance to be able to continue to stand or even sit and not lose your balance. This really surprised me when I started looking into it. But your hips are everything. And believe me, I understand how important they are, because a year ago I actually fractured my pelvis. And I'd always taken for granted that, there wasn't, I didn't really rely on my pelvis or my hips to do much. But believe me, when you fracture your pelvis or you damage your hips, you're in for some real problems. And the problem really is if your hips are weak, you're going to wobble every time the boat moves. Your knees are going to ache, and you're going to step up on the deck, and it's going to feel like you're climbing Mount Everest. Good hips mean good balance. And balance is what keeps fishing fun and safe. Next would be legs, the all-day muscles. People forget this, but fishing is a standing sport. A lot of you, have resigned yourselves to sitting, but fishing is really all about standing. And if you're shifting weight, bracing, leaning, stepping, sometimes for 6 or 8 hours, you've got to have strong legs to be able to do that. And this means that if you want to last longer, you want a quicker reaction time, and you don't want to feel like your legs are turned into jelly by lunchtime, you need to do something to improve the strength in your legs. So that's where we need to start concentrating, because the legs are really the foundation of everything. But next up would be your forearms and your grip. The fish don't pull themselves in, contrary to what some people might think. And, I know they used to have a fishing rod out there where you could push a button and it would kind of bring the fish in, but they don't really have that anymore. And for most of us, we have to depend on our forearms and our wrists to be able to control from the time we set the hook to actually bringing the fish in and dropping the fish, into the boat. All of this requires a lot of dexterity in our hands, in our wrists, and in our forearms. And, again, this is an area that's often overlooked, and it's also an area that you can have a lot of cramps in. I have right now, I just started having problems with something called well, now I can't think of it. It'll come back to me here in a minute. But it involves my fingers, and they just lock up on me. And I'm sure others, many of you have probably had similar problems. But when that happens, there isn't really much you can do other than maybe make a fist or force your fingers back into position. But it's all about, again, not ending that trip early. Strong hands mean confidence when it really counts. So next up would be your ankles and your balance. Uh, and finally, this is the most important probably of all because it completely involves your balance. One slip and your season's over. One slip could mean your life is over. So strong ankles and balance provide the balance with the muscles that you need to keep you steady, keep you standing. You know, the deck's often wet. A boat can easily shift in direction based on the wind, based on wave patterns. Sometimes just a boat going by too quickly can flip that boat to where it turns quickly. And if you're not prepared for it, if you don't have the muscles in your legs and your ankles and even in your feet, you know, you're going to lose your balance. And if you lose your balance, there's a very good chance you're going to fall. Better to fall in the boat than fall out of it, but you don't want to have to fish scared. You want to fish smart. So what do I do? I mean, I'm no expert. I mean, I'm certainly not, you know, a physical therapist or a trainer or anything else. But I read, you know, I watch videos like everybody else. I try to figure out what I need to do for myself. I mean, I belong to a gym. I go up here to Planet Fitness. It's a good gym. Used to belong to Gold's Gym. Before that, I actually had a gym in my own house. I was fortunate enough to have enough room out on the patio, and I had everything. I had speed bags, body bags. I had a 350 pound weight set, Weider weight set. And I had, you know, all the dumbbells and pulleys and ropes and stretches, and I had it all. And back in my 40s, I was in pretty good shape. But, you know, time moves on for all of us. And at some point, you know, I moved, and the next house I had wasn't quite as big, didn't really have all the room for all this equipment, and most of it just, I don't even know what happened to it. But nowadays, I have a gym that I can go to, Planet Fitness. I've been a member for the last couple of years. The problem is, it's a pain in the ass to have to go, you know, get dressed, put gym shorts on, a t-shirt, whatever, put my tennis shoes on, and then go get in the truck and drive up. It's only a mile away, but it's still a pain in the ass. I don't like doing it. Half the time I think about working out, I think, I don't want to go through all that. So it's a lot easier just to work out at home. And for me, I can do almost everything I need to do right here in my office, or at the very least out on the patio. I've got some small dumbbells. I think I've got a 5 pound, a 10 pound, 15 pound, and a 25 pound dumbbell. And well, actually, I have two of each size. And I can use those and do almost every exercise I need to do to keep me in shape. Besides that, you know, I have a nice mat that I can actually lay down on the floor, and I can do a lot of other exercises. The main thing is, you know, I don't need to go to the gym, other than the fact that the gym does have some things that I don't have here, such as the ability to, like a bicycle, to ride a bicycle, a stair climber, stair step climber, or even a treadmill. I don't have those things, but you know, I've got the great outdoors. So if I want to walk, I can go out and walk, if the weather's not bad, at least. But you know, I'm not looking for, you know, big bench presses. Those days are long gone. I don't need to impress anybody. And to be honest with you, I'd probably hurt myself if I start trying to lift heavy weights. Deadlifts, bench presses, just don't need them. All they're going to do is make me sore and, you know, probably stop my interest, or at least slow down my interest in working out, because let's face it, it's just not fun nursing back sore muscles. And that pain usually stays with you for 3 or 4 days. So you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to miss, days that you could be out fishing because you're too sore from working out muscles that you want to be able to use to keep fishing. So the real goal is plain and simple. I want to be able to fish longer. I want to be able to fish pain-free. And I want to be able to come home tired, but not beat up. And that's it. 10, 15 minutes a day. Actually, it's not even a day. I can skip a day. They they tell you that it's better. It's better to work out maybe 3 days a week, maybe 4 days, but give yourself time to recuperate. I think my goal typically is every other day. And in the days I don't do any working out, I try to walk so that I'm at least getting some exercise. And of course, if you're out fishing, you are getting some exercise. You're exercising different parts of your body. But if you do what I'm talking about, I think you're going to find in a very short period of time, you may even lose some weight. So if you're in your 70s and in your 80s and you're still chasing bass, remember this. You don't need to be as strong as a young man. You just need to be as steady as you were, when you were half this age. So anyway, I wish you luck, and if the good Lord's willing, I plan on doing this well into my 80s. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, and please, if you have any comments, I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate it, and I wish you a great time on the water.